reflected the ideology that they were referring to in all three pictures. I suggested that it preferably would not be in English, and even better would be in a dead language, singing in English, and saying, "This is the one, watch what he does." It would be really antithetical to everything that they came up with. So I think it was Larry who came up with the idea of using passages from the Upanishads, which are the ancient Vedic scriptures that the Hindu religion is based on. And he wanted to do it in the original Sanskrit. And when I saw the passages that they had chosen, I was astonished at how well integrated these ancient writings were to the entire ideology that Larry and Andy had come up with for the whole thing. These are referencing the one. From delusion, lead me to truth. From darkness, lead me to light. From death, lead me to immortality. I thought that it raised the level of the integration between the music and the action, exponentially.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining the Atman Show episode 21, and I have two guests, and Uma is actually PhD in Sanskrit, and she's already done a session with me on Chanakya Niti, and Karan is an expert in Vedanta, and he's already done 2 episodes, Matrix and Vedanta, and also Vedanta. And today we are going to talk about Matrix and Upanishad. So Karan, can you go just give a brief introduction before I move to Uma and share my screen?
Sure. I think as I introduced earlier, the interest in Vedanta and I would say the other forms of spirituality has been ingrained in our house as well as very early. I was fortunate enough to get exposed to some of the thought processes and leaders in the space and gurus, I would say. And this whole connection between, I think, the movie Matrix and Vedanta in general, and obviously Vedanta is crux of Upanishad, deep philosophical thoughts. I think the whole context of this discussion, Anamika was very, I would say, she picked out a very interesting topic in the sense that she pulled and she's done a whole bunch of research. So I owe this to Anamika, that she has got some of the Sanskrit verses which have been used in Matrix. And today we wanted to explore and probably create a connect between the movie as well as related to our context, and then obviously delve into some of the meanings of these very, very, I would say, profound verses. So thank you so much, Anamika, and I think we'll love to discuss this further with Umaji here.
Yeah, Uma, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Dr. Parvathi, and my nickname is Uma, and I have done PhD in Sanskrit. Basically, my specialization is in Arthashastra, but I have studied Vedas too. So just wanted to go ahead with matrix shloks and discuss it in detail with you all.
All right, I'm going to share my screen, and Uma is going to talk in Sanskrit and Hindi, while Karn is going to talk, give the explanation in English. All right.
इसमें विद्या और अविद्या की बात की गई है. विद्या जो है वो,
and then he starts to see a much bigger world, much bigger dynamic going on in this thing, and you start to see you are just a little pawn in the larger matrix of things going on. So, but that non-knowledge and someone who knows that very, very clearly, as well as the knowledge, when you know both of them, that's where wisdom arises, and with wisdom you go towards moksha, which is the immortality, as described here.
Thank you.
अनामिका जी, मैं एक और बात बोलना चाहूंगी.
हाँ, बताइए.
बेसिकली उपनिषद का मतलब है कि निकट जाकर गुरु के पास बैठकर विद्या ग्रहण करना, इसको हम उपनिषद कहते हैं. तो उपनिषद बेसिकली हमें ये बताता है कि हमें गुरु के पास जाके विद्या ग्रहण करते हुए हमें उस परम तत्व के बारे में जानना जरूरी है, जिसने ये संसार बनाया है और जिसमें ये संसार लीन हो जाता है. तो मनुष्य हमेशा इस डर में जीता है कि मैं कल मर गया तो क्या होगा, लेकिन मरना सबने है, मृत्यु सबकी तय है. बट हम उस मृत्यु के बाद हमारा क्या होगा, उसकी नॉलेज देने वाला ही ये उपनिषद है. डिफरेंट ये उपनिषद आपको यही बताते हैं कि मृत्यु से ऊपर भी है क्या, मोक्ष को प्राप्त करना. जब आप ये इस डर से दूर हो जाते हैं कि मुझे मृत्यु आनी ही आनी है, जब आप इस विद्या को ग्रहण कर लेते हैं अपने डिफरेंट एक्सपीरियंसेस से, तो आप उस चीज से हटकर अपना दिमाग जो है आप परमात्मा की ओर लगाने लगते हैं. तब आपको पता लगता है कि ये सृष्टि कितनी सुंदर है, कितनी सुंदर है जिसने इसे रचा है. क्या हम इससे पहले से जानते थे? तो जब हम जानने लगते हैं तो हम मोक्ष की ओर बढ़ने लगते हैं, क्योंकि हमारी दिव्य ज्योति तब जगने लगती है.
All right, thank
बहुत
you.
ही बढ़िया, बहुत ही बढ़िया.
Moving on to our next slide. This I think I can read it, and if I'm wrong, please correct me. Kathopanishad, is that correct?
कठोपनिषद.
Kathopanishad. Okay. All right. So, Uma, can you read this in Sanskrit?
सबसे पहले तो मैं इस उपनिषद के बारे में कुछ बता देती हूँ. बेसिकली इसमें एक नचिकेता है इस उपनिषद में. वो जो हैं ब्राह्मण होते हैं और एक दिन उनके पिता की मृत्यु हो जाती है. तो वो बहुत ही मतलब अपसेट हो जाते हैं कि मेरे पिता की मृत्यु हो गई है. तो उन्हें ये लगता है कि मैं अपने आप को क्यों मैं जिंदा रखूं, अब मेरा जीवन क्या है, मेरा जीवन तो व्यर्थ है उनके बिना. तो वो अपने आप को मारने की कोशिश करते हैं. वो रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं काल से कि आप मुझे ले जाइए, मेरे पिता की जगह मुझे ले जाइए आप, और मेरे पिता के जीवन को छोड़ दीजिए. तो उस टाइम नचिकेता को जो यमराज जी हैं, वो जब नचिकेता उनसे पूछने लगते हैं कि बताइए मृत्यु के बाद मनुष्य के जीवन का क्या होता है, मतलब मृत्यु हो जाती है तो मनुष्य की गति क्या होती है, वो कहाँ पहुंचते हैं, तो उसको लेकर ही ये स्टोरी बनाई गई है कठोपनिषद की, जिसमें नचिकेता को यमराज जी जो है ज्ञान दे रहे हैं।
All right. So can you read that verse in Sanskrit for us, please?
इंद्रियेभ्यो परमं मनो मनसः सत्वम उत्तमम सत्वादधि महान आत्मा महतो अव्यक्तम उत्तमम। इसमें बेसिकली ये बताया गया है कि हमारी इंद्रियां यानी कि हमारी सेंसेस, सुनना, देखना, बोलना, ये सब जो हमारी इंद्रियां हैं, इसे जो इंसान है काबू में सबसे पहले रखना सीखे, क्योंकि इंद्रियां ही हमारी इच्छा वासना के कारण होते हैं। इंद्रियां ही हमें प्रवृत्त करती हैं कि हम इच्छाओं की तरफ डाइवर्ट हों, हमारी इच्छाएं बढ़े। तो इंद्रियों से बड़ा जो होता है वो मन है, जिसे 11वां ज्ञानेंद्रिय माना गया है। और मन को हम वश में रखें सबसे पहले तो इंद्रियां अपने आप ही वश में हो जाती हैं। तो इंद्रियों से बड़ा मन है, मन से बड़ी बुद्धि है, बुद्धि यानी कि नॉलेज। जब आप इन दोनों को काबू में रखते हो तो डेफिनेटली आपका जो शरीर है, आपका दिमाग नॉलेज की ओर बढ़ता है। आप सीखने लगते हो कि क्या है ये दुनिया, इस दुनिया में है क्या, किसने बनाया इस दुनिया को, हम कौन है और हम क्यों आए हैं पृथ्वी में, हमारा आने का कारण क्या है, हमें क्या करना चाहिए। तो इन सब चीजों को वो जानने लगता है। जैसे जैसे जानने लगता है उसकी बुद्धि तीव्र होती जाती है, उसकी और इच्छाएं बढ़ने लगती हैं कि मुझे और जानना है और जानना है, और अल्टीमेटली वो मोक्ष की ओर बढ़ने लगता है। यानी कि वो आत्मा को जानने लगता है कि हमारे अंदर जो आत्मा है उसी में परमात्मा लीन है, जिनको मैं बाह्य जगत में ढूंढ रहा हूं वो तो हमारे अंदर है। तो इसलिए वो ये कहते हैं कि इन सब चीजों को, परमात्मा को जानने के लिए सबसे पहले इंद्रिय और मन को काबू में करना बहुत आवश्यक है।
All right. So Karan, with the context of Matrix, can you, tell about this? We had done Matrix episode last time. So in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
context of Matrix, can you talk about this mantra, please?
Yeah, so I think as rightly put, I think the whole sequence of Indriya, Man, Buddhi, and then eventually the supreme being, and तो इसमें वो एक order दिया हुआ है. Now in Matrix context क्या होता है कि and what happens in Matrix is basically the they the whole pod in which individuals are kind of kept as a battery, uh, they have been kept with their the indriyas is basically the senses that touch, sound. There is constant feed onto those and computer generated feed, which essentially is not really real. But because if just imagine a scenario, if you were wearing glasses and those glasses were constantly feeding not what is happening outside, but something else, which is in some ways TV or mobile in these world, which is where we are getting more and more entangled into it. The whole idea is if you cannot control those urges of the senses, you are not using your mind or essentially your the mind and intellect. I will not go into too much of a complication in between difference between that, but essentially your capabilities which governs or allows you to control those. In Matrix, these were by itself being controlled by the system itself, and that system continues to feed a certain kind of information which are pleasing to the indriyas, which essentially lets you stay stuck with it. Or usme in Matrix they say one very interesting point. When there was a time when they created one Matrix, they had all good things being fed to the and people would wake up because they can't take too much of goodness. They felt that it was unreal, and so they had to create the matrix, fine tune the matrix to create problems, and the problems was what allowed people to stay stuck in the matrix.
Yeah.
So that is a very, very interesting point for all of us, because our minds are constantly in search of what next, what is not there with me, what are the problems which are there. If it's too good, it's unbelievable. Like ye mere saath nahi ho sakta. This is not mine, and all of those things. So that I think have been described in this one, again, very beautiful line. Just the what is the order and how it has been controlled. So that's my take.
All right. Moving on to the next one. Can you pronounce it, any one of you, Karan or
बृहदारण्यक
I'll
उपनिषद.
Brihadaranyaka Upanishad? All right. So moving on to our next one. This is the main crux. Very exciting. Uma, can you talk? Can you read it in Sanskrit? Even like small or big, I'll leave it up to you.
असतो मा सत्कमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मा अमृतम गमय. इसमें बेसिकली ये बताया गया है कि असत से सत्य की ओर बढ़ो. असत मीन्स होता है यहाँ पे जो आप ये सोचते हैं कि जो इस संसार में मैं जी रहा हूं, जो मैं देख रहा हूं वो ही सच है, उससे आप सत्य की ओर बढ़ो. मतलब आप उस चीज को देखो जो इसके पीछे छिपी हुई है, जिसने इसे बनाया है, उसकी ओर बढ़ो. तमसोमा ज्योतिर्गमय. तमस मीन्स अंधकार से ज्योति की ओर बढ़ो. अंधकार यानी कि जो आपको ये एक आपके आगे जो अंधकार छाया हुआ है कि मैं ही सब कुछ हूं और मैं इस संसार में जी रहा हूं, जो देख रहा हूं वो ही सच है, तो ये भी गलत है. उससे आप ज्योति की ओर बढ़ो. आप ये देखो कि इस संसार में एक पत्ता भी हिलता है तो वो परमेश्वर की मर्जी से हिलता है. तो इन संसार को बनाने वाला भी वही है और मिटाने वाला भी वही है और कंट्रोल करने वाला भी वही है. मृत्यु और माँ अमृतम गमय. मृत्यु से अमृत की ओर बढ़ो. मतलब हम जो डरते रहते हैं कि मृत्यु आ जाएगी, मृत्यु आ जाएगी, तो उस डर को छोड़कर अमृत की ओर बढ़ो. ये सोचो कि हमें मोक्ष की प्राप्ति करनी है, उस परमात्मा का साक्षात्कार करना.
All right, Karan, thank you, Uma. So, Karan, why do you think Matrix movie chose this as the main mantra of that, Matrix? Everywhere, every time it is playing that, although they've used other mantras, but this is the main one. Do you have any take on that
So
one?
yeah, so this is basically the final soundtrack which comes at the conclusion of the initial trilogy. Of course, later part were added and all of those things. But the whole movie, in the essence, was talking about this moving from darkness to light, and moving from that tamas, which is indulgence and being heavy, to being effervescent and being able to thrive in this thing, and eventually to immortality, which is basically knowing. Again, I'll use some of the things which Parvati ji said earlier. Is I mean, when we are talking it in the context of, if you see immortality from a science sense, that the when you change your paradigm, like if you know a map, you know only that map, and then you're stuck with that map. But if you zoom out a little bit, you realize that okay, that the city is not just city alone. There is a state, there is other stuff, and so on. And then you zoom out further, and then there is a lot more, and then lot more, and then lot more. That paradigm is what all of these Upanishads are trying to create, which is so vast, so big for us, so that it becomes very natural. We flow with the lens that all of these things become minor. That आना है, जाना hai, small things. If you get trapped, if you don't get a few things, not doesn't matter, because in the grand scheme of things, it is just a passing moment, or it's just a passing sensory activation. That I think is summarized in this beautiful verses, and I think this is a very, very, I would say, even though it is associated with Hinduism, obviously it comes from, it is universal in nature. I mean, who wouldn't want to move from darkness to light, and become bring life to you, which is forever. that is based on understanding, and that's what it is going. And Matrix eventually ends in that note.
Okay, I have a basic question, like from the
मैं एक और
practical
चीज
point
कहना
of view.
चाहूंगी।
Yeah, just 1 minute, Uma. I just want to ask one thing. Like from a practical point of view, how do you become immortal? Like from death lead me to immortality means you will live forever. What is immortality and how do we become immortal?
मोक्ष का मतलब यहाँ पे ये नहीं है कि आप कभी नहीं मरेंगे।
Hmm.
जैसे आपने सुना होगा कि शंकराचार्य ने बोला है भज गोविंदम में, पुनरपि जननम पुनरपि मरणम पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम। यानी कि जो जठर में, मतलब कि मनुष्य जो बच्चा जो है वो माँ के पेट में कब उत्पन्न होगा, कब वो बाहर निकलेगा, क्या होगा क्या नहीं होगा, ये तो परमात्मा ने ऑलरेडी सोच रखा होता है, वो डिसाइडेड होता है। तो मनुष्य का आना जाना निश्चित है, क्योंकि ये एक संसार चक्र है। ठीक है, तो यह संसारे बहु दुष्कारे, इस संसार में बहुत सारे दुख हैं। कृपया पारे पाही मुरारे, इस संसार के दुखों से मुझे दूर करते हुए अपने परम रूप का दर्शन कराइए, ऐसा हमें शंकराचार्य ने भज गोविंदम में बताया है। इसका मतलब ही यही है कि ये जो आपके अंदर ये जो भय आ गया है कि मैं मर जाऊंगा, मैं दोबारा जन्म लूंगा, मर जाऊंगा, कल को मेरी मृत्यु होगी, तो मैं फिर मेरा ये प्रॉपर्टी क्या होगी, मैं क्या रहूंगा, क्या करूंगा, ये सब आप छोड़ दो। क्योंकि आपका अल्टीमेट एम एक ही होना चाहिए कि आपको जिसने जन्म दिया है, इस संसार में भेजा है, उसका दर्शन करना, उसको प्राप्त करना ही मोक्ष है, उसको देख लेना ही मोक्ष है। अगर आपने उन्हें देख लिया तो आपका ये जो ग्रंथ है, ये जो आपके जो नॉट आपके अंदर बंधे हुए हैं ना, कि जो भय का एक धागा आपके अंदर बंधा हुआ है, वो अपने आप ही टूट के प्रकाश की ओर बढ़ने लगेगा, क्योंकि आपने इस संसार को रचने वाले को ही देख लिया है। फिर
Alright.
आपके मन की शंकाएं दूर हो जाएंगी।
All right, thank you, Karan. So, what in terms of matrix, what is immortality?
So immortality is again, see, in certain sense, we are all immortal already, in the sense that whatever, and it is about realization that you are immortal. You will change. Like I mean, Anamika, who was a kid, is no longer there. But
Mhm.
are you sad about it? That
No.
you gradually change, and when it happened, transition, you never know, but we never feel very sad about it कि अरे बच्चा गया, अरे वही तो हूँ मैं right? So it's the same thing is that your essence is gonna exist beyond time and scope that we can think of, and that's the immortality. So, and that realization is that, oh, you are immortal anyways, and you have been getting scared कि अरे यार मैं तो मेरा मेरा बचपना चला जाएगा, मेरा बच्चा बना चला जाएगा, अगर if you keep thinking about it, you will always be like, oh, so that is the fear has to be eased out, that you will transform into another form, and that formation is merging and understanding that the universal consciousness के साथ आप जब एक लीन हो जाते हैं, you become one with it. That is how it has been described. Now again, different systems, different I would say thought processes describe it differently, but the essence of it is that your existence in physical body may change, so you will not like live physically in the same form, but your essence will always exist for immortality. That's the movement here.
Here we need to understand one thing: immortality is not connected with the body, it is connected to soul. Soul never dies.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Gita says, Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam kledayantyapo, na shoshayati marutah. यानी कि आपकी आत्मा को ना कोई शस्त्र काट सकती है, ना कोई अग्नि जला सकती है, ना कोई वायु उसे उड़ा कर ले जा सकती है, ना ही कोई पानी उसे बहा कर ले जा सकता है। तो मोक्ष आत्मा के लिए कहा गया है। आपकी आत्मा कभी नहीं मरती,
All right.
वो सिर्फ एक बॉडी से दूसरी बॉडी को ट्रांसफॉर्म होती है, दैट्स इट।
और वो रियलाइजेशन कि आप वो आत्मा हो will
हाँ,
lead you towards that moksha or self realization or the light that we are talking about. जो ज्योति के बारे में बात हो रही है उस वर्ष में वो वहां से आती है।
All right. Moving on to our next one. It is, if I'm wrong, please correct me, both of you. Mandukopanishad. Is that
मुंडकोपनिषद।
okay? All right. So yeah, there are two verses in that. We can go one by one. But first, go ahead. Uma, can you read it in Sanskrit for us?
विद्यते हृदय ग्रंथि छिद्यन्ते सर्व संशयाः क्षीयन्ते च अस्य कर्माणि तस्मिन् दृष्टे परावरे। पर उन्होंने ये कहा है कि जब हम उस परमात्मा का साक्षात्कार कर लेते हैं, जब हम उनको जान लेते हैं, तो हमारे हृदय में उत्पन्न सारे डाउट्स क्लियर हो जाते हैं, सारे संशय धीरे धीरे मिटने लगते हैं। आपको लगता है इस संसार में उसके अलावा कुछ नहीं है, जो भी है वो ही है। और हम अपने कर्मों से हम दूर हटते जाते हैं। हम सोचने लगते हैं कि परमात्मा पर ही ध्यान लगाना हमारा सबसे परम कर्तव्य बन गया है, क्योंकि हमारे अंदर अब कोई डाउट ही नहीं रह गया कि जीवन क्या है, मरण क्या है। हमें सिर्फ वो नजर आ रहे हैं जो अल्टीमेट है, उनके अलावा और कुछ है ही नहीं इस दुनिया में।
All right, Karan, do you have to say on anything on that one? And also, like when you say you have to know the God, but here we have many God, and so it's okay. We
Yeah,
can
so
name God.
yeah, I think when he is seen is, I would say he in the sense, and I'll go back to that paradigm of
Yeah.
seeing the universality of all our beings, is when you have seen that your existence by itself is one a wave, ephemeral, हम आते हैं जाते हैं in that sense, but that wave exists forever and ever, और वो चलता ही रहता है. So in that sense, and when you start relating to that, your doubts are it says not of heart is loosened, but sanksha is those doubts. When you're living without doubts, you live more wholeheartedly. That's the more essence of it. You live more happily, more joyfully, most importantly. And once karman doesn't exist, now there are two ways to it. One is, you obviously, पार्वती जी ने जो बताया कि आप you're working towards, अगर आप किसी गॉड एंटिटी को मानते हैं तो आप उनको सेंटर रख के करते हैं. बट फ्रॉम अ लार्जर सेंस पॉइंट इज, कर्म का बंधन तब बनता है जब एवरी टाइम यू हैव एन इंटेंशन विच इज वेरी वेरी पर्सनल इन नेचर. मतलब उसमें अगर आप सेल्फ इंटरेस्ट देखते हैं, इफ यू आर लुकिंग फॉर सेल्फ इंटरेस्ट, द कर्म बंधन keep forming and all. So in that sense, your deeds become karma free, which is like you are doing it because you are flowing with this thing. There is no attachment. There is nothing, that no burden that you're taking forward from there. And you do, and you're connected with the larger scheme of things. I'm just taking it from Upanishad to say Taoism. Taoism may, there is one thing which is called live like a water, which is go with the flow. And when you're going with the flow, you're so natural. I mean, you feel a rock, you don't get angry, you don't get angered by it. You move around it, and then you keep flowing. And that's when you're not getting attached to karma. That's yeah. Otherwise, you're like hooking your every corner, every block that you come to your life. You're seeing it as a burden, and then you're seeing that, oh, how do I deal with that? Why should I carry with it? And that is attaching karmic bondage for us and making us heavier. This is all about it. When you see that there is no need for you to be heavy, you see the bigger picture, and you have to flow with the prava, then there is no need for you to have even karmic bond. And when you don't have karmic bondage, it connects back to moksha. that means you're free of any karmic bandhan, and then you can become moksha without any moksha. Again, moksha has two lenses, by the way. One is moksha is seen as jab aap, when once you're dead, then you attain a thing which is you don't get into multiple lives after that. The other way of seeing moksha is moksha in the current form, which is you keep doing your daily work without really getting you knowing that all of these things have very little bearance on the larger scheme of things. So there will be few challenges which will come. You have to deal with it. You do it and then continue doing it. So that is where you're not getting attached or getting entangled and saying that, oh, my life sucks, or I don't know why this is happening to me, because you have become more within the life itself. So that's another lens to look at
Yeah.
from there.
While you're living a normal life, you can still get moksha. That's what you're saying.
That is what I'm saying.
Okay. All right, Uma, can you go ahead and read the second one for us, please?
यस्मिन् द्यौ पृथ्वी च अन्तरिक्षम् एतत् मनः सह प्राणैश्च सर्वैः तम् एकं जानत् आत्मनाम् अन्या वाचो विमुच्यता अमृतं यस्यैव सेतुः। इसमें ये बोला गया है, इस मंत्र में ये बोला गया है कि वो परमात्मा जो है उसको जो एक बार जान लेता है तो उसे समझ में आ जाता है कि ये जो धरती, आकाश और ये जो हमारे चारों तरफ जो एक एक जो हमें पर्यावरण दिख रहा है, ये सब कुछ उसी के द्वारा बनाया गया है, जोता गया है। उसी ने ही इसकी रचना की है। इंसान को रचने वाला भी वही है, इंसान के दिमाग पर काबू करने वाला भी वही है, और जो ये प्राण वायु जो जिसके कारण इंसान जीता है, उसे देने वाला भी वही है। तो उसके बिना ये संसार कुछ भी नहीं है।
All right, Karan, go ahead.
So I think, see, there is again, from context of matrix, it's all again knowing that you're not that cell, or you're not the person who you see on daily terms. The way this, if we go with the literal translation of it, it is sky, earth, atmosphere are woven, is basically your whole own body is pieces of sky in the sense that the space that we have, the earth is everything that we have consumed, and atmosphere is obviously the gases which have come together, and that body which we have taken from outside has now developed a mind which thinks that it is separate from the sky earth body which exists outside, and that the connection with what we have between the outside and inside is that life breath which is connecting. If you see it from a lens where all of us are connected by the same air, no matter you're in India or wherever, we are breathing from the same atmosphere. It is all connected, right? Which essentially means, and set it out and all of us fall. So we are so deeply connected, and all of that connection has built their own individual minds. And this is where the whole individuality or ego, keh lijiye, or whatever you want to name it, that separateness is what that mind creates a bhram that you are separate. But essentially, you are all together. You are just a I would say, just spectrum जो होता है, उसमें you're from a dark black to white, and then there are multiple colors in between. We are shades of that, but we miss the whole point that we are part of the spectrum and not separate from the spectrum. That's the essence of it in different. And matrix, it is about not getting entangled in that which has been within the matrix, but it is also part of seeing it from a larger perspective. That's how it is seen.
All right. moving on to
बिल्कुल सही कहा करण जी ने। एक्चुअली हमारा मनुष्य का जो शरीर है वो पंच तत्वों से बना हुआ है, पृथ्वी, जल, तेज, वायु, आकाश। बस उसमें एक ही अंतर है, वो हमारी श्वास वायु जो कि परमात्मा से कंट्रोल्ड है।
right.
तो यही अंतर है।
Okay,
Right.
so I'm going to read two at a time so that we can do. Uma Sarava Turva Pai Om Sara Pai Gai Om Tanna Durva Buddha Pai Uni Sara Pai Gai Om. So I have written in the meaning also on the at the side, and go ahead, Karan. You can start, and then if Uma, you have any comments, you can talk on that.
So just one quick thing. Those first three lines are together actually.
Okay.
So that's one mantra. That Om Aditya Namo Nama is a separate mantra, and then the Om Narayan I Vidyamay is a third mantra, which is going into the next slide. But that couple of lines from there
Yeah.
are all together. So the first three are together. And Parvati ji, maybe you wanna उसको एक बार फिर से आप स्पष्टता से कह सकेंगे.
मतलब you can tell in Sanskrit and then we can talk in English. Yeah.
You want me to tell the meaning of this?
Yeah.
No, and
Just
meaning,
go with the flow.
the way it is supposed to be read
Yeah.
is what I
Yeah.
was saying.
I just told it a layman's word, but if you can talk in
इसमें
Sanskrit.
इस पूरे मंत्र का सार यही है कि हम जो है, हमारा जो मुख्य जो हम हमारा मुख्य जो एम होना चाहिए, जो हम चाहते हैं संसार में, वो यही होना चाहिए कि हम उस परमात्मा को जाने, क्योंकि वो परमात्मा ही इस सृष्टि का रचयिता है और वो उस परमात्मा ही में ही ये सारी सृष्टि लीन होने वाली है। अगर आप उसे जान लेंगे तो सब कुछ आपकी शंकाएं मिट जाएंगी, क्योंकि हमारे अंदर जो आत्मा बसी हुई है, जिसके कारण हम जिंदा हैं, वो आत्मा में ही परमात्मा बसे हुए हैं ज्योति रूप में। तो हमें बाहर से उन्हें ढूंढना नहीं है, हमें अपने अंदर ही चिंतन मनन निधि ध्यासन के द्वारा उन्हें जानने की जरूरत है। अगर हम थोड़ा बाह्य जगत से आकृष्ट ना होकर के अपने अंतःकरण को जानने की कोशिश करेंगे तो ये तय है कि हम उस परमात्मा का साक्षात्कार कर सकते हैं। इसलिए मैं उस परम तत्व को प्रणाम करता हूं और मैं चाहता हूं कि वो जो परमात्मा जो हमारे अंदर बसे हुए हैं वो हम पे राज करें और हमें सही दिशा की ओर लेके चले।
Right. So go ahead, Karan, and you can talk about these mantras on the first slide and also have a second slide. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So जैसे Parvati ji just mentioned, I mean, I think the first set of the three, one again, all mantras which end with Om Shanti Shanti are essentially part of the Shanti mantras. Again, all of those are very universal in nature. And I'm deliberately not using the word secular because it is these days not seen as a good term. But universal is very humanistic in nature. That when you change your lens from being very minuscule to a larger lens, and when you start seeing the connectivity, you realize that everything is starting from the same point, and that in if you take the scientific worldview, for instance, is the point of Big Bang, where in the Big Bang you have there's nothing, which suddenly the space and matter gets created from nothingness. If that is what you have your connecting with, and you're realizing that that's the supremeness of the universe itself, then you are bowing down to that what a grand creation that has been, that from nothingness there is this whole beautiful earth that we see. There are multivariants of life forms, there are multiple variable, and who, so this is basically a reaction to that, and all Shanti mantras are basically in some form of gratitude, saying that thank you for the grandeur, and that this is a beautiful mantra from that standpoint. And so this is I don't have a very there is in Matrix there is something called the source, and which is, but it doesn't have like a one-on-one match with the mantra, but they've used it because of the gratitude that it says that take it to that power, then from where everything has kind of emerged out of it.
All right, moving on to
So the second one, that Aditya Nama, very simply is supreme source of light, and Aditya in some sense, and Parvati ji can correct me in this, is obviously referred to sun, but that light can mean the light of Big Bang also, because that is the source, so supreme source of light. From where did light come from? I mean, these are very genuine questions, like why does light exist, for instance? No, we have explanation of how light acts, what happens, but why does light exist? We don't have. So and because of the light, from so many billions of miles away, the sun is able to give that light to the trees, and from those trees to us, to every life form. So again, it is again a form of gratitude, which is saying I bow down to that supreme source where these things have come from. And then we can go to the next one if you want to.
last one, like Om Narayana Vidamahe.
Yeah, so Om Narayana Vidmahe is again, if you go to the next page,
Yeah.
it is going Vishnu, Vishnu Vasudeva Dhimahi Tanno Vishnu Prachodaya. This is actually a part of, and Parvati ji, again, you should keep me honest here. Gayatri mantras, there are different forms of Gayatri mantras. Some say that there are 8 different forms of Gayatri mantra. In this so it's a variant of Gayatri mantra, and all Gayatri mantras eventually are again, these are all gratitude mantras in some form, and in that gratitude you're ending with enlightening of our minds, which is don't make us wiser, more wisdom, and I, who are a minuscule person, is bowing down to the creator sustainer. In this case is Vishnu, which is the obviously protector, sustainer of the universe, and who's incarnated as Krishna as one of his forms, is please enlighten my mind and don't allow me to slip into darkness. And that's the whole, even Gayatri mantra does very similar thing, but it does to Bhur Bhuva Swa, which means I mean, again, the land, space, and the outer, the whole existence, Brahman. So Parvati ji, आप उसमें ऐड करना चाहेंगे?
मैं सिर्फ इतना ही कहना चाहती हूँ कि इसमें यही कामना की गई है कि हे प्रभु, हमारे मन को, बुद्धि को और हमारी इंद्रियों को हमें इतनी शक्ति दीजिए कि हम इन तीनों पर काबू करते हुए, अपनी इच्छाओं का अंत करते हुए, आपके ध्यान में ही अपना जीवन व्यतीत कर दें, ताकि हमें एक परम गति मिले, आपके चरणों में हमको गति मिले। ये ही यहाँ पे प्रार्थना की गई है सभी के लिए।
Okay. So next one is the Kathopanishad.
मेन कारण ये है कि मनुष्य की इच्छाओं का कभी अंत नहीं होता। हमारे पास आज घर है तो हम सोचते हैं कि कल एक गाड़ी आ जाए, गाड़ी आ गई तो हम सोचते हैं गाड़ी में एयर कंडीशन भी होना चाहिए। तो ये एड ऑन होता जाता है, क्योंकि इसकी कोई लिमिटेशन नहीं है। और जब तक ये लिमिटेशंस नहीं होंगी, जब तक ये इच्छाएं खत्म नहीं होंगी, तब तक हम उस परमात्मा तक पहुंच ही नहीं सकते। तो इच्छाओं का अंत होना बहुत जरूरी है, और वो तभी हो सकता है जब आप ये दिखेंगे कि हम आते भी अकेले हैं, जाते भी अकेले हैं। जब हम ये जान जाएंगे कि हमारे पीछे कुछ नहीं जाने वाला, सिर्फ हमारे किए हुए कर्म वो ही जाने वाले हैं, तो शायद हम ये समझ पाए कि भाई इच्छाओं का अंत ही परमात्मा तक पहुंचने का मार्ग है।
All right. So the next one is Kathopanishad. There's one more. Can you read that for me, Uma?
जन्मनि मनसा सह बुद्धिस्स च स विशिष्टते तम अहूह परमागतिम या यदा यदा यदा। सेम जो मैंने अभी आपको बोला कि वो प्रार्थना कर रहे हैं भगवान से कि हम जो हैं अपने इंद्रियों को, मन को, बुद्धि को वश में करते हुए वश में कर पाए, इतनी आप हमें शक्ति प्रदान कीजिए ताकि हम इन चीजों को वश में करते हुए आपकी ओर चिंतन लगाएं, अपने मन को लगाएं, ताकि हमें आपके चरणों में परम गति मिले और ये हमेशा चलता रहे।
All right. Karan, you have to say something.
Yeah, so I think again, we already spoke about the mind, intellect, the body, the difference of it, and eventually transcending from that, which is the moksha that we spoke about. And this is I think this is the last mantra. Is
Yeah.
that correct? I mean,
Yes,
this
it is the
is
last
so.
slide. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, how it is, and very wisely they ended it, because this is like the crux of everything, all the wisdom and all, which is not to get stuck in the senses, no, not to get stuck in the mind, not to get stuck in the intellect, and then transcend to the essence of being. And again, I call it transcend in sense is from your thought understanding of it, when you start to see the much larger picture of our own existence. You have finally merged with the universe itself, which is in some sense, it's also when you have realized that, that Aham Brahmasmi, or Atman is Brahman. There is no difference between this earth and me. I am just a essence of earth doing its own things for a limited period of time. और ये अंडरस्टैंडिंग हमेशा 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 हमारे साथ रहे. That is how they're ending the essence of the movie itself. And again, we have to keep so they have to make a commercial movie out of it. They have to keep they can't get very preachy about it.
Exactly.
But the point is to keep it entertaining and bring in all this wisdom into a very commercially successful
Yeah.
movie. I think I hats off to the creators of the movie to kind of connect traveled a very difficult path and done justice to it. I think I would end with that.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop my share. So this book is actually available in, Amazon. Go ahead and take a copy. It's called 112 Upanishad. Board of Scholars. We all did research from this book. Okay. Before we end our show, Karan, do you have anything to say to my viewers of the Atman Show?
No, as always, I mean, pleasure talking to you, Animika ji, and पार्वती जी. आपके साथ हम अलग से फिर से और अच्छे से इस बात पे चर्चा करेंगे. To the audience, again, please stay connected. Anamika is doing a lot of good hard work in trying to get very interesting speakers. All of the episodes have been amazing. And multiple point of views. I think it's a great exploration, great journey. I'd love to hear feedback on this, on everything else, and so please do subscribe, like, and share the Atman shows wherever you find an opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Uma, do you have to say anything to my viewers of The Atman Show? आप हिंदी या संस्कृत में बोल सकती हैं. Choice is open.
बस मैं इतना ही कहना चाहूंगी कि जो भी अभी हमने बातें आपस में शेयर की, इसका सिर्फ एक ही सार निकल कर आता है. ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत् किंचित जगत्याम जगत तेन त्यक्तेन भुंजिता मागृता कस्य स्विद्धनम. सिर्फ ये संसार जो है वो ब्रह्म की उत्पत्ति है. उस ब्रह्म को जानिए, कभी किसी को नुकसान ना पहुंचाइए, सबके लिए भला सोचिए, भला करिए, तो आपका भी भला ही होगा.
All right.
बस इसी शब्दों के साथ मैं आप सबको धन्यवाद कहती हूँ मुझे सुनने के लिए.
All right, we all three of us are going to come again on a second part of it, which is called Shanti Mantras, and same format. Uma will talk in Sanskrit, and Karn will talk in, give a more universal speech so that everyone gets attracted and joins us. Okay, good luck, everyone. Bye.
Thank you so much, Namika ji. Thank you, Parvati ji.
Thank you.